Yeah, I really just want my kids and my grandkids and everybody who puts their trust in me to be able to live their life to the fullest. And you can't do that when you have to clock in every Monday morning. I'm Derek Smith. I'm an all-around entrepreneur, so I can help you buy, sell, lease, invest, wholesale, manage, etc. I tend to focus on helping investors find, analyze, and manage their projects and properties, focusing on the residential space. Right before real estate, I was a tattoo artist and thought that that would pay my way through college, but turns out that even though it's a high rate, it's still selling your time for money. So I had to find a way to not do that and instead utilize skills and talents to bring in more money based on results as opposed to time. So I picked up wholesaling, and that was kind of my introduction to working with investors. Once I got out of college, I made a very risky decision to, instead of taking a solid job, get into something where most people fail. I knew that as long as I was performing at the higher levels, I would be able to make significantly more and have more freedom. I just looked up how to do it and what people are looking for, and of course I butchered it the first few goes. I had high ARVs and low rehab budgets like most new wholesalers, but the more that I learned about the actual process and what they go through, I was able to really nail down those numbers and get better estimates for them. I was working for somebody when I first started in real estate. I was working at a multifamily acquisitions company where I would commute to work, I would dress nice, I would cold call 8 hours a day. And while I learned a bunch, the main thing that I learned is that I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on someone else's time, reading someone else's script, and have them have the power to say whether or not we're going to transact on this property and therefore whether or not I'd get paid. Then I met Matt, and it was the start of being a little bit more free. I think like most entrepreneurs, you start selling whatever it is that you can get your hands on, and that's not always a great thing. I realized that I needed to focus on something that I could eventually pass on to my kids. So I Googled how to become a millionaire. And if you were to go Google that, you would see that most millionaires do so through real estate or own real estate. I think the creative part's the most exciting thing about being an entrepreneur. Getting into that first property, I was using another investor's money via a promissory note into an LLC, and then sold it, and then met someone else, and they had listings involved, and then joint ventures, and I mean there's a lot of different moving parts, and there's no way that we could have guessed the way that it would have turned out when I bought that first property. But I knew that as long as the numbers made sense, we were providing value to people, we got the right people in the right places, that everything would work out. And now here we are, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years from that first purchase, and went from borrowing money to purchase that one to now working on an Airbnb village kind of around the corner from that. I meet people, and a lot of them that invest with me are older, and they've been thinking about getting into real estate for a long time, but they have to work, right? They have to pay the bills, and it makes me kind of sad to see people go through their whole life like that, where they're living week to week or month to month and never really being able to enjoy the time that they have here. So by creating assets like this through creative means where they'll pay us forever and then can even pay your kids and your grandkids, it really creates a sense of freedom for everybody who's involved in it. And that's what's really rewarding for me, is being able to take control of our lives again. There's definitely been obstacles. I think a lot of people would have quit after going through, and I instead looked at it, thought, what can I learn from this? Learned that lesson and adjusted my approach moving forward. So I'm only a few years in, but the amount that I've learned, I don't think there's like a college course or anything that could have taught me that. And I'm only learning more and more every day. So in a few years, I'd probably look back at this interview and be like, what an idiot. And that's perfect. That's what I want. I want to constantly grow and learn and become the most valuable resource I can for my clients. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, But if you're somebody who has the drive, you're a self-starter, you're a go-getter, and you're willing to do what it takes to make something work, I would absolutely advise getting into it and just diving in head first. Because if not, you're gonna end up like, some of the investors I have, that they wait until they're old and gray to start taking the risk. The sooner you take that risk, the sooner you build up that momentum and that experience, the farther you'll be able to get. Yeah, I think anybody who is going through a transition in their life where they have a choice to make, and it's the easy choice or the risky choice that may pay off better, go for it. You can always go back to the steady job, right? But you can't get your time back. And so utilize the time that you have to try to build something greater. Right now, in addition to the properties that I own a part of, I have the Airbnb and short-term rental structure all set up to manage for others as well. So my goal for the next year is to take my short-term rental management company to 100 doors and to help as many people get that headache of managing these properties, because it is tough. I want to take that headache away from them so that they can still enjoy the benefits of the passive income, the depreciation and appreciation, while not having to deal with the day-to-day. So currently the short-term goal is build out that short-term rental management company. My name is Derek Smith and I am an entrepreneur.